Hey, what's up guys, DarkArmedDuelist, and today I'm doing a Cyber Dragon deck profile. So I'm really excited to do this for you guys because Cyber Dragon is one of my favorite cards in the entire game, and it's one of the most nostalgic cards to me. It's a really fun deck to play around with because it can OTK your opponent out of nowhere and even control the board with super powerful monsters like Cyber Dragon Infinity. So without further ado guys, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell there so you can become part of the notification squad, and definitely check out the Patreon down in the description below for all those awesome rewards, like getting your name description for every single video, getting a signed card sent in the mail, and even getting to request a deck profile every single month to your patron, along with test hands. So without further ado, let's get straight on into this. So first off, we're going to be playing 3 copies of Cyber Dragon. This card is so awesome and so nostalgic and has such a powerful effect, but it's super simple. If your opponent controls a monster and you don't control a monster, you can special summon this card from your hand to your side of the field. It's a really awesome 3-of that you've got to play at 3 in your Cyber Dragon deck. We then played 3 copies of Cyber Dragon Core. Cyber Dragon Core is an amazing card in this deck and hands down the best normal summon, with the ability that when this card is normal summoned, you can add a Cyber Spell or Trap from your deck to your hand. And if your opponent controls a monster and you control no monsters, you can banish this card from the graveyard to special summon a Cyber Dragon monster from your deck, which is a really awesome effect. And just about every single one of our Cyber Dragons in this deck count as Cyber Dragon while in the field or in the graveyard, which is extremely important for a lot of different plays, especially for Cyber Dragon Core. Since it has 400 attack points, we can actually combo it out with Machine Duplication to be able to summon out 2 Cyber Dragons instead of 2 more Cyber Dragon Cores, which helps us go into some rank 5 plays. This card is one of the best cards in the entire deck. We're then playing 3 copies of Cyber Dragon Hertz. Cyber Dragon Hertz is a good 3-of as well because it has the ability that this card name becomes Cyber Dragon while in the field or in the graveyard, and you can only use one of the following effects of this card once per turn. If this card is special summoned, then you can make this card's level become 5 until the end of the turn. Also, you can't special summon monsters for the rest of the turn except for machine monsters. Or if this card is sent to the graveyard, you can add one other Cyber Dragon monster from your deck or graveyard to your hand, which is extremely helpful to be able to grab a Cyber Dragon from your deck. It's just a really awesome searcher. We're then playing 2 copies of Cyber Dragon Nashter. Cyber Dragon Nashter is a good card as well for this deck, but you really only need 2 copies of this card. This card's name becomes Cyber Dragon while in the field or the graveyard, and you can discard one other monster to special summon this card from your hand. And if this card is normal or special summon, you can target a machine monster with 2100 attack or defense in your graveyard and special summon it. But it locks you into summoning machines for the rest of the turn, which is again not that big of a deal because we have plenty of monsters that we can summon with just summoning out this and another monster on our side of the field, like our Cyber Dragon Link monster. We're then playing one of my personal attacks for the deck, which is a single copy of Cyber Dark Chimera. This card is the card we were looking for so long as Cyber Dragon players, to be able to search Power Bond. This card is absolutely insane because you can discard one spell or trap to add a Power Bond from your deck to your hand, and it doesn't stop there because after this card resolves, you can only use Dragon or Machine Cyber monsters as fusion materials this turn, and also once when you fusion summon this turn, you can banish monsters from your graveyard as material as well. And if this card is sent to the graveyard, you can send a Cyber Dark monster from your deck to the graveyard with a different name from the cards in your graveyard. This card is absolutely nuts, being able to basically turn Power Bond into an overload fusion and search Power Bond as well, so it's a definite 1-of in my build. We're then going to be playing 2 copies of Galaxy Soldier. Galaxy Soldier is really good because you discard one other, or send to the graveyard, one other light monster, and then you get to special summon this card to your side of the field, and then search another Galaxy monster from your deck to your hand, which is going to be another copy of Galaxy Soldier, which will help you go into some rank 5 plays. We're then playing a single copy of the Star Destroying Kaiju because it can out opponent's monsters, and we can use it with different cards in our extra deck, like our Fortress Dragon, to be able to get it off the field while also outing a powerful monster that our opponent has on their field. We then play 3 copies of Ash Blossom just to stop the opponent from touching the deck. This card is a really good hand trap and is just super helpful in this build. And then we're playing 2 copies of Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbit. You can play any hand trap you want in this position, but I really like the 2 copies of Ghost Ogre because it helps me get through to OTK my opponent, because I can pop a card on the field when it activates its effect, which can get monsters off the field so I can go in for game, which is why I'm playing 2 copies of Ghost Ogre, while also interrupting the opponent. So that's it for the monsters, guys. Let's get into the spells. So for the spells, we're going to be playing some extremely powerful spells, and we're going to be starting off with Monster Reborn, to be able to get some monsters back out of the graveyard, to be able to go in for some insane plays, or even bring out some of our boss monsters back to the field. We then play a single copy of Cyber Rev System, which lets us special summon a Cyber Dragon from our hand or graveyard, and it can't be destroyed by card effects, which is a really awesome thing. This basically is a searchable Monster Reborn in this deck. We're playing a single copy of Called by the Grave, just so we don't get hand trapped. This card is really good in the deck to be able to stop the opponent from hand trapping us while we're going in for our plays, especially when we normal summon out our Cyber Dragon core. We're then playing a single copy of Harpy's Feather Duster, just so we don't have to deal with our opponent's back row. This is a really good one of in the deck to be able to just completely get rid of all of our opponent's spells and traps so we can go in for game without worrying about cards like any of our opponents like back row that they're playing, like torrential tributes and stuff like that, while we're swarming the field. We then play a single copy of Foolish Burial. Foolish Burial is really good to be able to send the exact Cyber Dragon that you need into the graveyard when you need it. From sending Core to the graveyard to be able to special summon out Cyber Dragons from the deck, to be able to send Hurts to the graveyard so you can get searches. This card is just really good. We then play a single copy of Cyber Dark Realm. Cyber Dark Realm is searchable off of Cyber Dragon Core, which is really good because it is a Cyber Speller Trap. This card is really good because when this card is activated, you can add a Cyber Dark monster from your deck to your hand, which is always going to be Cyber Dark Chimera because it's the only one we play, with a different name from cards in your graveyard. And then during the main phase, you can immediately after this card resolves, normal summon a Cyber Dark monster, which lets us normal summon out Cyber Dark Chimera, so then we can search Power Bond and make an extremely powerful monster to go in for game. We then play a single copy of Cyber Repair Plant. Cyber Repair Plant is a really good card because if you have a Cyber Dragon in the graveyard, you can add a Light Machine monster from your deck to your hand, which is the effect we always use with this card. We then play a single copy of Overload Fusion, which is going to let us banish cards from the graveyard to fusion summon a Dark Machine monster from the extra deck, which is really good to go in for Rampage Dragon. One copy of Cyber Load Fusion. Cyber Load Fusion is another good one of in the deck that's actually a quick play spell. Lets us fusion summon a fusion monster from the extra deck that lists a Cyber Dragon monster as a material by shuffling the fusion materials listed on it into the deck from among cards on the field or face up that are banished, but monsters that you control cannot attack for the rest of the turn except that fusion monster. This card is really good to be able to set to your side of the field and activate during your opponent's end phase so that during the following turn you can attack with anything that you want. We then play 2 copies of Power Bond. I really like 2 copies of Power Bond in my build because it helps us fusion summon into some crazy powerful monsters and double their attack points so we can go in for game, and it combos very well with our Cyber Dark Chimera. We then play 3 copies of Cyber Emergency. Cyber Emergency is a good searcher for the deck that lets us add a Light Machine monster that cannot be normal summon or set, or 1 Cyber Dragon monster from our deck to our hand. So this card is a definite 3-up to be able to get the exact monster that you need. And then we play 3 copies of Machine Duplication, because basically if you have Cyber Dragon Hurts or Cyber Dragon Core on your side of the field, you can activate this card, and since they count as Cyber Dragon while in the field or in the graveyard, you get to summon out 2 copies of the original Cyber Dragon to your side of the field, which is a very old school combo for this deck. But this card is a definite 3-up to be able to get those Cyber Dragons on the field to then go for your copy of Nova and then for Infinity. We then play for the traps, guys, because that is it for the spells. We're going to be playing some really awesome traps for this deck, and those traps are going to be 3 copies of Infinite Impermanence. Infinite Impermanence is a really good card that was actually included in Cyber Strike. But this card is really good to be able to activate. It lets you target a face-up monster opponent controls and negate its effect. And it can also negate spells and traps in the same column as it. So this card is a definite 3 of for this deck, and it's just a really good hand trap to back up your Ghost Ogres and your Ash Blossoms. So that's it for the main deck, guys. Let's get into the extra deck. So for the extra deck, we're going to be playing 2 copies of Cyber Dragon Infinity. This card is a great card for the deck. You can make this card by using Nova as a material, and it's just a really good boss monster on the field because it gains 200 attack points for each material attached to it, and also it's a walking negate, and can also gobble up cards on your opponent's side of the field and attach them as a material to this card, which is really, really good. We then play 2 copies of Cyber Dragon Nova. Cyber Dragon Nova is a really good card because you can detach a material from this card and then target a Cyber Dragon in your graveyard and special summon the target, which is really nice to be able to climb into some other monsters while also making Infinity. So this card is a definite 2 of in the build, so you can go in for your copies of Infinity. We're then playing a single copy of Constellar Pleiades because sometimes you will need to make Pleiades alongside your Infinity because you can only XZ summon Infinity once per turn. You can't summon Infinity twice per turn, it's just once per turn. So we play the single copy of Pleiades, so if we make 1 Infinity, we can then make 1 Pleiades. So this card is really good because it can bounce cards back to the opponent's hand, which is really, really nice. We then play 2 copies of Chimera Tech Rampage Dragon. Chimera Tech Rampage Dragon is a definite 2 of because this card is going to help you OTK while also popping spells and traps on the field, which is really, really nice. When you make it with Power Bond, it goes up to 42 and can attack multiple times, which is really, really awesome. We then play a single copy of Cyber Twin Dragon. Cyber Twin Dragon is a really good card because when you make it with Power Bomb, with just any 2 Cyber Dragons, you can attack twice with this card, and it just gets absolutely massive. It goes up to 5,600 and it's able to attack twice when you make it with Power Bond. So this card is a definite 1 of in my build. We're then playing a single copy of Cyber End Dragon, which we actually have the misprint from Cyber Strike, where it actually has the silhouette of the Cyber Dark End Dragon, which is really, really awesome that it has the silhouette of that on this card. This card is absolutely nuts. It just does piercing damage, but when you make it with Power Bond, especially when you make it with Power Bond, it's going to go to 8,000 and it does piercing damage. And you can also special summon it off the Cyber Dragon Nova's effect that if it gets destroyed, which is really, really nice. We then play a single copy of Mega Fleet Dragon. Mega Fleet Dragon is good to get monsters out of the extra monster zone, which this card is just a really, really good 1 of in this particular build. And then we play a single copy of Chimera Tech Fortress Dragon, which is a good card to be able to use your opponent's monsters like your Star Destroying Kaiju to be able to make this card with a Star Destroying Kaiju that you tribute over an opponent's monster with in a Cyber Dragon on your side of the field, which is really, really nice. We then play a single copy of Cyber Dragon Sigurd, which is a really awesome Link monster that can make some of your monsters really, really powerful because this card's name becomes Cyber Dragon while in the field or in the graveyard. And during each battle phase, if this card did not declare an attack, quick effect, you can target a machine monster you control with 2,100 or more attack. And for the rest of the turn, that monster gains 2,100 attack and defense, but also neither player takes any battle damage from attacks involving that monster, which is the only downside, but it helps out a lot to be able to get through some of the opponent's monsters. I play a single copy of Verte Anaconda to work with all of our different spell cards that are fusion spells in this deck, and this card is just a really, really good 1 of in this build. 1 copy of Linkuriboh for Hertz, and a single copy of Alamirage for the Cyber Dragon Core to be able to go in for additional plays. These cards are really good in the deck. I did drop Zeus out of my build. You can put Zeus back in if you want to for taking out the copy of Cyber End Dragon if you don't want to play that card, or dropping Pleiades out of your build to make a copy of Zeus. That is an option for you guys because it is a machine monster, but with this particular lineup, I just didn't have the room. But it is an option for you guys if you want to play it, or if Anaconda goes to 0, you can put Zeus in this list. So that's it for this one, guys. I hope you did enjoy it. It's a really, really awesome deck to be able to play, especially since Cyber Strike came out, to be able to just get all of your Cyber Dragon cards in one place, along with Infinite Impermanence in Cyber Strike. It's just really, really cool. I love this deck. It's super fun to be able to play, and I really, really love Cyber Dragons. Anyways, guys, this is DarkArmedDuelist. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell in there so you can become part of the notification squad, and we'll see you guys in the next video. See you later, guys.